Girl with rarest condition in the world. Tessa Evans from Maghera, Ireland suffers from an exceptionally rare medical condition called complete congenital arrhynia, meaning she was born without a nose. Arrhynia is so rare that there are only 47 cases reported in medical history, and it leaves Tessa with no sense of smell and no sinuses, although she can cough, sneeze, and catch a cold. Now she has just undergone a pioneering operation to have a mold inserted into her face to stretch her skin and slowly build a missing facial feature. She will have more surgeries to have the implant replaced as she gets older so the nose grows with her face. Then when she's a teenager, she will receive the final prosthesis, which will be tattooed with light and dark shades so it looks like a real body part. Normally, people who need a nasal prosthesis have a procedure to rebuild their nose when they are a teenager when the face has stopped growing. But Tessa's parents, Grain 31 and Nathan Evans 33, made the tough decision for Tessa to have this new procedure to begin creating a nose while she's still a toddler. They say they hope this will avoid more invasive surgery in the future. Mrs. Evans, a mother of 3, said, "It was an incredibly difficult decision for all of us. We loved Tessa so much and thought she was completely beautiful the way she was. We ultimately decided to go ahead as it was a chance to gradually change her appearance over the years and to normalize her profile without ever cutting her face. Normally, the advice is to wait until teenage years when the face has stopped growing and construct a nose using bone and skin grafts, which is quite a major undertaking and leaves scarring. This process is much less aggressive, and Tessa's nose will grow with her instead and will prevent major surgery when she's older," she said. She added, "With Tessa being the first patient to have this done, we had to put a lot of trust in our surgical team that we were making the right decision for Tessa's future." In an operation carried out at Great Ormond Street Hospital, London, a plastic surgeon used a 3D printer to make a model of Tessa's skull. Then he used a substance like modeling clay to design a small mold that fitted to her face underneath her skin. The custom-made implant was then produced in medical-grade material ready for the operation. It was inserted via an incision behind her hairline, meaning there is no scarring at all on her face. Tessa will undergo surgery every couple of years to ensure her nose grows at the same rate as the rest of her body. Mrs. Evans said they were delighted with the result. "We've been totally thrilled as the result. She's equally as beautiful as before. There's just a little extra Tessa now." Tessa hasn't mentioned her new nose, and it has been such an inspiration to watch her take the surgery in her stride. Tessa's arrhynia was first detected during the 20-week scan, which showed she had an abnormally flat facial profile. Mr. and Mrs. Evans were told to prepare to make difficult decisions, but the follow-up 3D scan and test revealed Tessa was perfectly healthy and everything was normal, but the birth was extremely traumatic. Doctors were able to stabilize her so she could breathe on her own, and eventually I was allowed to hold her for a few seconds, Mrs. Evans recalled. Tessa was also born with other problems related to her condition, including a tiny hole in her heart and problems with her sight. At just 11 weeks old, she needed surgery to remove a cataract on her left eye, but complications left her completely blind in that eye. She also needed a tracheostomy fitted to allow her to breathe while eating and sleeping. Despite having a difficult start to life, Tessa has always been healthy and met all her milestones, her mother said. Mrs. Evans said, "Tessa's like any other little girl. She loves playing with her brother and sister. She's always smiling and has never let her condition stop her from doing anything. Everyone who meets her instantly falls in love with her. We just want her to inspire other people like she inspires us. When the scan first showed abnormalities, I just couldn't understand it, didn't even know it was possible. How did my little girl not have a nose? Was she going to live? Would anyone be able to help her? Initial research advised to terminate my pregnancy, but I've been campaigning since she was born to raise awareness about the condition and how wonderful arrhynia children are." Mrs. Evans has since brought over 20 families together across the globe, and there is now a support group for the first time ever to share experiences, adding, "We're grateful for every opportunity to raise awareness of this extremely rare condition. We're excited to share the results of Tessa's surgery and believe it will represent a very positive option for other children with arrhynia. We can't thank Great Ormond Street Hospital enough. It is one of the most uplifting and happy places we've ever been. We're extremely fortunate to have access to these world-class consultants and surgeons and to have this kind of treatment on our NHS." Jonathan Brito, Tessa's craniofacial plastic surgeon and consultant at Great Ormond Street Hospital, Gosh, said, "After the operation, Tessa looked immediately more featured. Tessa's a completely bubbly, playful, and happy child. We're lucky to be entrusted with her care. Her prosthesis will heal nicely and her face will slowly grow around the implant to accommodate the nasal shape. When she has the final implant when she's a teenager, the skin can be tattooed with nuances of light and shadow to finally complete the staged aesthetic reconstruction."